It has been 12 years since we left the Earth behind. The toxic clouds formed just after the last departure. The meteors rained down on Earth, hour after hour. We took what we could: man, woman, child, flora and fauna, everything to sustain life, everything to return life to our humble planet, a planet that is not only in the distance, but also a distant memory. When this whole thing started, I was just a young girl of 12. My father was gifted by our new friends with the technology to create all of the ships, the grand ships, the small ships, the energy charge rounds, and the quantum drive. I have always loved my father, as any daughter would, and I often wonder, if the stone shower wasn't a threat, would things be different? Would I be a captain? Would I have gone to war at such a young age? I am sure that things will change. I am sure that I won't be the same, and that one day we can return to our Earth, if only to reclaim our birthright. But for now, I have to wait, which is something I have gotten very good at: the waiting. I wait for the word of my father's health. I wait for the love of my life to finally reveal himself to me. But for right now, I am waiting for Ajub to show up and place itself into a trap that I made. And had I not need of this bloody thing, I would not be on this inhospitable planet. Jana is right, or at least her account of things are correct. But it has made her bitter to the reality of it. While remaining hopeful, she knows deep down inside they may never return to Earth. They may never reconvene their old lives. She sits on a rock. Better, she sits on a small boulder, spitefully trying to skip pebbles across the beige sand. This while trying to cast a mindful eye on her Jube trap. A Jube is a small, indestructible creature with a body similarity to a gummy bear. It is dangerous for anyone to touch. It will burn straight through your hand. The only way to handle such a creature is with a metal we call Sexton, mined on the same planet that was lost to the enemy. It is also on that same day that she lost her weapon, a Jube blade. It is essentially a metal sword handle with two openings, top and bottom, with grooves, shelves on the inside to house the Jube creature. But before that can be achieved, the swordsman must first find the creature and establish a mental link. And only then will the Jube agree to slave itself to the swordsman. And only a few humans have ever had the mental fortitude to command a Jube. But once it is accomplished, the creature can take any shape or form commanded by the mind of the wielder, be it a sword, a shield, or staff, or even a force field. Moreover, it helps that Jana is a telepath of modest results, also possessing extra human strength. She is a humankind female after all. She hasn't realized her true power yet. Perhaps her mother is not willing to teach her. She is near 6 feet tall, in her mid-20s, blonde and very Australian. That scar on her right cheek needs time to heal, for the Battle of Kharkov ended just a week ago. It was the most devastating battle in human history, either on Earth and in space. As she glances at her set trap, a call comes through her communicator from Force Chief Petty Officer Sarah Willis, Jana's best friend. She first asks Jana how she is doing and what her state of mind is like at the moment. It's good, considering, Sarah is reassured most earnestly, despite lingering feelings of loss and dismay. I will try to believe you in all of that, Sarah responds. Get back here in an hour, Sarah continues. All commanders are required for the next council meeting. It is going to be big. Jana confirms and submits her agreement, while seeing no point in it. As the message system clears up, she is joined by Jami, who recently became Crown Prince of the Ensabian Kingdom. Have you not claimed your prize yet? Asks Jami. No, replies Jana. You know, I've checked. It is safe for your species and mine to procreate, says Jami. Oh no, not now, says Jana. I need you to stop your advances. I am not Captain Kirk. I am not interested in an interspecies relationship, says Jana. But I am technically a humanoid, so I think your worries are unfounded. Like I said, we have been studying your people for a long time now. How long? Just then, Ajub is trapped. Oh, wait, hold that thought, says Jana. She walks over to the screaming creature, running frantically around the small cage. She talks calmly to it, trying to connect to it telepathically. It turns round, looking into her eyes angrily, wondering why it is there. She quickly connects with it, coaxing it to slave itself to her, while promising to show it the galaxy. It takes a moment to think about it, and then it agrees. She places her weapon rod on the ground and opens the cage. The orange tube climbs into the two-handed rod, squeezing through the small circular hole. Jana picks up the weapon, then cycles through the various types of weapons: a saber, a shield, a staff, and a whip. Just then, able Marine Lo Joe Sheck speeds up in his Sparrow. Captain, the time frame is closing to get to the meeting on time, said Lojo. Message received, replied Jana. Okay, G. It is time to go. We will finish this later. I hope you think seriously about it, replied Jami. Think about it. Think about all the opportunities that will be available to you. The galaxy would be yours. You don't even have the galaxy yet, Jana says as she climbs into the cockpit of her Sparrow. Just get in. Jami joins her, sitting in the tandem seat. She starts her Sparrow. It raises to a shallow hover. Via video link, Jana calls all the members of Unit Delta Bravo 8, ordering them to saddle up and regroup while the transport waits for them on the outskirts. The 20 other unit sparrows join their leader, breaking through the atmosphere at high speed, linking up with transport vessel Graph 109. The transport quantum jumps. 5 minutes later, and a light year away, they arrive at the jump gate and its security checkpoint for Command Colony on Nema 6. The jump gate is sewn together by the 10 moons that completely surround the planet. All around the installation is a triple layer force shield with an entrance that only just exists in the upper quadrant. It is a ground base, an Earth away from Earth, but home is where the heart is. There is no division of landmass, only a division of sectors, with limited but apportioned resources. There are luscious groves of trees and in jungles, with strange animals and a strange liquid that only seems like water. Sweeping hills of rock, meeting with dark orange grass. The transport vessel lands on the runway deck at the top of a small mountain just near the High Council complex. Today is the meeting of the Galactic High Council. There is an urgent need to answer the question of what to do. To retake the mine colony responsible for providing the mineral to fuel the quantum drive engines. Within a half an hour's time remaining before the meeting, Jana goes to her parents' quarters. Her father suffered a terrible injury in his lab that destroyed the right half of his body. Nanites are being used to repair and restore his body. Jana's mother greets her daughter. She is very happy with the progress of the repair. Of course, as a humankind female, she has well been trained in her power. She could just heal her husband herself. However, she has always tried to hide her true identity from her loved ones. She had been afraid to lose them from fear. Though her mind has been changed with the discovery Jana has been making with some of her abilities, time will soon tell, and all may be revealed in time. "Look at him," says Jana's mother. "I thank God for the progress that he has made. He laughed at one of my jokes today," her mother also recalls. They hug. Jana informs her mother that she has to go to a High Council meeting, and if she doesn't leave now, she will be 10 minutes late. Her mum hands her a packed lunch as they hug one more time. Jana sets off in her family-sized automated tram. On the tram, Jana readies herself, fixing her hair and tidying her officer's uniform. Seconds later, she arrives at the Grand Hall. The corridors and halls have ceilings that are 30 feet tall. Blue marble and granite covers wall to wall and floor to wall and floor to floor. Officers and civilians and politicians transition in all different directions as it is very busy. It is not just humans, but also other species that walk on two legs. Jana walks through the massive doorway that is heavily guarded into the main hall as the session is already underway. Grand Admiral Terence Roderick Davies of Dorset is putting forward his daring plan to retake Sexton 7 He stands at the podium, a striking man of 50 years he is, with dark, flowing hair and a medium beard, standing 6 feet tall. He has always been known as being a sensible man, whilst making highly controversial decisions, which is exactly why he is the man for the job. The man to lead all of Earth's forces, a true leader. He is a tactician and a politician. He is only a man of many words when he has to. These are dangerous times, as they are certainly upon us, says Admiral Davies. Time has passed since that dark day when we have lost so many things. Our enemies are now in a stronger position, a position in which they can force the result that they require. If we do not answer this question, we may find ourselves in an untenable situation. But make no mistake, I have a plan to gain the upper hand, and it will require all of our available strength to see it through. You will find the plan in your briefs, entitled Errand Plan number 121494. I know that you are all aware of the plan. All members will vote now. All of this baffles Jana, because she does not understand why anyone would plan a suicide mission, essentially. So much so that she must have a word with the Admiral himself. At the end of the session, Jana is able to get the attention of Admiral Davies, trying to understand his justification for risking the lives of such important officers, and doing this without overstepping her station. Unfortunately, before she can properly articulate, he executes a complete and utter shutdown of the would-be conversation. The near whiplash of this action causes Jana to fall into a bout of uncontrolled stuttering. "You should have that checked, Captain," said Admiral Davies. He walks away, leaving Jana to pick up the pieces of her shattered dignity. Later on, Jana finds herself searching for her good friend, Captain Gray, hoping to persuade him to find a way out of the mission, or to make preparations to fully survive. He is already with his unit at their Sparrow hangar, readying themselves for the mission. Captain Gray is a tall man, a Bahamian, with family of English and Swedish extraction. He has salt and pepper beard, with a sun-worn face. He is a hard man, a bastard, with 4 scars of various sizes dotted around his face. His Cuban cigar is still in his mouth, puffing smoke down from his 6'5" frame. He surveys the area as the ever closer bark of his trusted husky Max runs up to him. He bonds with the dog, asking it to get ready for the mission. By the time he looks up, Jana stands in front of him. Sighing while standing, "Came to say goodbye?" he asked. "So you know what this mission is?" responds Jana. "What do you want me to say? I am what I am. I am a soldier. I do what I can for my employers. It is my duty," says Gray. "Okay, well, please do what you can to survive," pleads Jana, "and face the stockade or dismissal. Better an honorable death," replies Gray. You're not a samurai. I don't see the difference, Gray says. Look, I understand your concern, but you needn't worry. Oh, come on, Jana retorts. I love you too, Gray responds with a smile. Now you're welcome to stay, but we have to get ready. We are off in an hour. He hugs her as she takes up his invitation to stay, but she wants to spend as much time with him as possible, for she knows not if he will return. The preparations are at a grand scale. 18 sparrows and 35 men, loading up large amounts of weapons and ammunition, but comparatively very small amounts of food. The plan is to hit as hard as possible with a surprise attack, causing the gravest of casualties on the enemy. This can only be done with the latest secret weapon that is in the finishing stages of being fitted to the sparrows. Without it, the transport will be eviscerated once it is detected. What a motley crew it is that makes up the UDB-6. They are from all different countries. While this is not out of the ordinary, the concentration of bastards is mind-boggling. They are all hard men, problematic through authority, the scariest of men, men who have been known to survive on drinking their own urine. A unit of hard men, misfits of all types and backgrounds, and the list goes on. Within an hour left before the mission, Gray will soon begin a roll call, followed sometimes by one of his dynamic speeches, to inspire his men to their greatest feats. However, this is the first time Gray is unsure of himself. He isn't so sure about this mission. Sure, the Earth forces need that outpost, that mining colony, but there must be another way, a way he hasn't found yet. Like any other human, he loves life. He loves to feel things. He loves to feel the touch of a woman. He loves his children, the same ones in which he is not allowed to see. He loves cigars, and he loves the delicious taste of lamb. Now, he does not know whether or not he will get the chance to experience those things again. And much worse, he will be leading all of these men that stand before him to their deaths. Even for a hard bastard, such as Captain Starling Lee Gray, he has his limits. With 30 minutes remaining before mission launch, and with all of the equipment packed, Gray clears his throat and makes a call to order. But that's all he does. He gives no speech, no clever words, and no roll call either. Only just the words, "Prepare yourselves." This doesn't go unnoticed, but his men never question him to his face, only amongst themselves. Jana too sees this, but never lets on that he is worried. Jana holds his hand in that loving way. She hands him an emergency beacon, to which she possesses the receiver. He is to activate the beacon if the situation is dire. The second wave will only come in if it is radioed clear. Normally, Gray wouldn't take such trinkets, but the chance of remaining alive is all too tempting, and with a smile, it goes into his pocket. It is now 0 hour. Gray orders all of his men with absolute authority to get on board. Jana watches as Gray walks up the ramp, the love of her life. He turns, then stares at her till the ramp shuts completely. The transport is away. Stay tuned for episode 2 of the Flight's End Saga, Unit Delta Bravo 6. Subscribe to this channel for more original content. Share this video, like this video. Supporting original content is a good thing for fans because it gives fans more worlds to discover and new ways to spark their imagination.